Wednesday night, and you ask yourself the question, what happened to Tuesday? Well, Tuesday happened. We just didn't get together on Tuesday, so we didn't get a recording. So we are going to make up for it. And the lesson learned there, for those of you who are accountability partners, is that's okay if you miss a day. It's not like, you have to give the other person a hard time. Sometimes things are just crazy. And I know with Sandra, she was out till a meeting super late. By the time she got back, I was in the little land of Nod, having a little snooze. And so we didn't manage to coincide. But we're making up for it today. And that's basically how it is. If you miss a day, just pick up the next day. It's like if you're on a diet and you have a pizza one day, that's okay. Just get back on the salad the next day. Right, Sandra?
That's right.
Right. Okay, we have regional consultant Sandra Louther on the call, and she teased me earlier on with a "I had a good day" text. So I'm interested to see how things went. Sandra, are you? Well, you're obviously on the line because you just said hello over there. You said okay. So how was your day?
It was good. That was yesterday, so I got to kind of think back to yesterday. But I got my notes in front of me, and I'm ready to share all the good.
I got a quick question for you. Are you on speakerphone?
I am.
Is there any way you can get off speakerphone because you're not super clear?
Is this better?
There you are. I was beginning to think you were an intruder, but it's you.
Got it
right
up
so
to my
ahead.
mouth now. Okay.
Okay, good.
So we had Gary. That's my massage therapist, and got on the phone with him, and he was super, super busy. Kind of got into his why a little bit before I even got into the invite. He is really tired of the massaging at night, and shared a little bit of that. And so anyway, I went into the invite and that with him. He's just too busy. He doesn't have the time. He can't fit it in. And it got to the point where I thought I needed to go another route. So that's when I pulled up hey, I've got 4 videos that I can send you. These only take 16 minutes. And he said, okay, great. Send them to me and I'll look at them. And I said, well, Gary, I really need to set an appointment because, if I send these to you, you're not going to look at them. Let's set an appointment. He said, oh, no. Send them right now. I'm in my office paying some bills, which I thought, okay, he's distracted. But he said, send them right now, and I'll watch them. I said, okay. And then called him back, and turns out a couple of his clients have mentioned Ambit to him, but obviously no one took the next step, showed him videos, or talked about it. So, we have a company that stands on integrity. And so I said to him, well, look, Gary, if you have someone else that's, talking to you about this, I would never step on someone else's toes. And he said, oh, no, they just kind of mention it in passing, and no, we're good. He said, I'm interested in this, but I am just super, super busy. And so we talked a little bit more, and then I realized I needed to kind of, he was distracted paying his bills. He was about to leave. Oh, I'm sorry. And then he got a client that came in. So I said, I tell you what, let me give you a week or two, and I'll call you back. And then I will get one of my leaders to get on the phone, and, we can revisit this. And he said, okay, that sounds great. So he's in my back pocket.
That's great. No, it sounded like you dealt with that perfectly well. It is hard when someone's as busy as that, and a backup is a video. But at the end of the day, remember, the one thing we do is we exercise patience. We're talking about people, joining the boardroom table of our business, and anybody you're going to ask to be, one of your board members would take time, and this is no different. Just because it's a $75 business, we don't need to treat it like it's, just, a quick, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. This is a very serious deal, and I believe you did great to exercise patience. And for those of you who are out there who are saying, no, you should push and blah, 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 that's fine. That's your opinion. I don't agree. I am, very much of the idea that exercise patience. That guy could be your next national consultant. That's probably going to make more than any normal board, member of the board member in a normal traditional business. So I think it's worthwhile the patience, and you did a great job. So good for you. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, I kind of went back to that, something that someone had told me, is that timing is everything. And so I used that with him, and I said, look, Gary, timing is everything. Let me give you a week or two. I'll call you back. So I didn't get a no, and he's interested. So I felt very pleased with that. So then we have Brian, and he's my chiropractor, and I called a few minutes too late, and they had already left the office. So tomorrow, they close at 5:30. I will call at 5 and find out what his last appointment is, and I will catch him before he leaves the office. So that's on my to-do list.
Okay.
And then I have Karen, and this was the one that her friend put her on the phone. I got her set up with electricity and had kind of mentioned I could help her make money.
Correct.
So I used the you had two different approaches, and I used the shorter, quicker approach with her. And
that's what I would have done.
And earlier you and I were discussing, on the not the closing, what do you call it, the intentional?
Being intentional about setting the time with people, yes.
Yes, and you really helped me with that, and it hit me that I actually did that right yesterday. Because when we were on the phone, I went right into, and I said, so what are you doing Friday after work? Let's meet for a quick bite to eat, and went into that. And so I have an appointment set with her Friday.
You see, the thing is, when you say it back to me, if I heard that sounds absolutely normal and natural. Even if, you feel, that doesn't feel right. When you said that to me, I was like, yeah, that sounds normal. That sounds like just perfectly okay to set an appointment. And it's a very interesting dynamic between, would it be okay if we got together sometime over the weekend, and what are you doing after work on Friday? Let's go grab something to eat. You're saying the same thing, one with posture and one with giving them the ability to, I'm not sure or whatever. So you did it great. And the intentionality is absolutely key. And something, if you're not used to it, for those of you listening to the call, if that's not your personality, practice it. It's just a different choice of words. It's not you being against your nature. It's just different words. Instead of would it be okay if, what about something like, what are you doing after work on Friday? Let's go grab coffee and see if this makes sense. It doesn't matter whether you're a postured person or not a postured person. It's just different words, but the result is 100% different. So you did brilliantly there. That was absolutely perfect. Well done.
Well, I did something else. I don't know if you're going to tell me that I did well with this or not, but I got to thinking, why did I not invite her to the business presentation that I go to at Rudy's in Arlington every Thursday night? And as I thought through that, I thought, I know why, because in my mind I was like, get an appointment set to show the video, and I wasn't thinking take to a business presentation. So I really pondered it before I called her back, because I did not want to lose the Friday appointment and mess it up. So I had the piece. I called her back, and I just said, hey, Karen, actually, there's another option for you. If you want to go to dinner with me tomorrow night, grab a barbecue sandwich. I'm going to a business presentation. It's a great presentation, a lot of fun, blah, blah, blah. I said to her, and she said, well, my daughter may be with me, so that may not work. I said, how old is your daughter? She said 19. And she said she just, she doesn't have a job. She's thinking of moving back up north. And I said, oh, well, this could possibly work for her as well. Why don't you both come? So tomorrow she's going to let me know if they're both going to come. So I may have gotten two instead of just one. And we confirmed if tomorrow doesn't work out with her and her daughter, we are still meeting on Friday.
Perfect. Great job. Way to double it up. That's great. And wonder sometimes like that, you can say, well, it'd be great. It could be something that would make sense for her. But if not, at least it's a good second opinion for you, right? So, there's a number of different ways. But, yeah, if there's a way of you being able to, to get a guest and them to bring a guest, so they, if they both like it, then your new consultant has already got their first consultant. So that's great. Great job.
That would be ideal. And I wanted to share with you, last night I went to the leadership meeting, and right at the end when everyone was leaving, this woman approached me, and she said, oh, are you the one that's on the purge calls right now? And I was like, yeah. And so she began to share with me. She's been in the business quite a long time, and she's struggled with the approach, the invite, and just that this phone call is real. These phone calls, these purge calls that you do, have been really encouraging her. And
that's great. Who is that?
So her name is Bridget. I don't know her last name, and she asked me how I went about getting this set up with you, so I shared how we met and all, and I said, reach out to him. She said, I don't want to bother people, and I said, Bridget, reach out to him. He will help you. And so you should be getting a call from her. So she's going to work on the therapist system. Yeah, and she's just been really encouraged by these calls. So.
Oh, that's great to hear. If we're able to help like that, that is really encouraging. Because as I say, sometimes when I'm jabbering on, I'm thinking, is anybody listening? Am I just talking to myself, or is there anybody actually there listening in? And when I hear things like that, it makes the whole thing worthwhile. So that's fantastic. That's really fantastic. So thank you for that.
I was hoping to get some brownie points because, see, I just referred you.
Yes, you did. You go, girl, and you get some brownie points.
I told her she better hurry up because before long you're going to have a waiting list of about a year before people are going to be able to get to you, so she better jump on it.
You better believe it. I've got people booking out in the future already, so for sure, she should do that. And for those of you listening in, if you would like to be, my guest for the week, we affectionately call them our victims, but of course there's nothing mean about anything. It's more of a protege actually, if anything. But let me know, and I'll get you fit in, and I promise you'll have at least as good a week as you've ever had, or if not, the best week you've had. So definitely, my number's 214-766-4613. Again, 214-766-4613. Do drop me a text if you'd like me to add you to the list of folks that I want to work with, and it'll be fun. Okay, so back to you, Sandra. So do we have anything else for yesterday and today?
I do not. Just I've really been working a lot on preparing the invite, and it's really just helping me a lot with structure. And so, I've begun with the next 3 that I'm going to be calling of how I'm going to.
Have you worked on invites for them yet?
So for Jack, I've done the invite for him. Do you want to
hear
a little bit? Okay, you do. So do I need to tell you about Jack first?
Yeah, please do.
Okay,
yeah.
So he's a former minister, and he's a founder of a very large nonprofit after-school kids program, and I volunteered for that program at one point. And that's how I know him. And it's just locally here, around the corner, actually, from where I live. And he's just a great leader. So let me walk back in the other room where my computer is, and I'll read off to you.
Okay.
Hi, Jack. This is Sandra Louther. I'm not sure if you remember me, but I volunteered for da-da-da-da-da at the such and such, and I'm in a bit of a hurry, so I'll be brief. Do you have a few minutes? Okay, great. Well, the reason I'm calling you is because my husband and I have a son that may be going back to college soon, and we want to position ourselves to be able to fund all that he needs. So I started a new business project in the DFW area that's going really well for me. Not only is it going to provide the cash flow that we need to help our son, but it's also absolutely going to provide all the residual income we need for our retirement. Jack, there's a couple of reasons I'm calling you. One is because I truly admire your heart for the Lord and for the children which you've created this organization for. And I also respect you as a businessman and how you built this program with integrity. And I would greatly appreciate your opinion and your feedback and what I'm doing. And just as in your organization, and awareness and referrals have been important, and they're equally important in what I'm doing. So hopefully at an appropriate time you could refer me. So now, Jack, there's a slight – and then I started – so I've got to erase this because I almost started to go into, hey, there's a slight possibility this could benefit you and your wife and help with your – and I thought, no, Richard said you keep it very it's either an opinion referral type invite or it's a invite to doing the business, and you can't confuse
Correct.
the two. So I left it at that. And then the very end, I wasn't sure. I just said, can I drop by the office on Friday about 11 o'clock?
Okay, we're going to lose the can I drop by. I'm literally going to be driving by your place. I'll stop by. I can stop by your place at 5 o'clock, unless you want to go grab a coffee. And how lovely is that? Nice and intentional.
I knew you'd tweak it, and I just couldn't figure it out. So that's great.
So you're not going to say, I could drop by. You're going to say, I'm going to be literally driving by your place. I can stop by like around 5:30, or if you'd like to go grab a coffee, there's a Starbucks literally 300 yards down the road, and you can take a look at what I'm doing. So nice and conversation, nice and chatty. A couple of other minor things. There's two. So first of all, 8.5 out of 10. Very, very good. I love the way you put all of the bits in there, but there were two elements I'd do a slight tweak on because it got a little confusing at one part. So first of all, you said, "Can I be I'm in a little bit of a hurry. Do you have a few minutes?" I would. This is a real subtle thing, but I wouldn't say a few minutes because you're in a hurry. I would say, "Do you have a minute?" And it's a small thing, very small thing. But it felt weird when you said I'm in a hurry, but do you have a few minutes? So tiny thing. It would be unnoticeable, but I just wanted to mention that. Do you have a minute?
No, that makes sense. Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense, especially as I look at it and I change it. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And then the second thing, so you got the being in a hurry perfectly. The why was just, I was sitting here smiling. My chest was swelling with pride. You did so perfectly. The way you did the why, I've got a son. We need to make sure, but I'm not. And then you said, and then you went into the hook, which was what you're doing. And not only is it going to do this, but it's going to help us with our retirement. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. And then number 4 came along.
I took notes, and I listened to what you said. I went back and replayed it. I took notes. And that is not a lie, because you and I talked about college. My son has been talking about going back, so I'm not just making that up from what you shared about Max. It's true. He's talked about it, and we're hoping that's going to happen. So
fantastic. And if he says, I want to do it, you want to be able to say, no problem. So, however, number 4, we need a slight tweak. You said I wanted to reach out to you for 2 reasons, and your first reason was, I really appreciate and respect you, your love for the Lord and this type of thing. That's not a reason to call someone about a business opportunity. By all means, tell him that you respect him and his love for the Lord, but it doesn't seem relevant to why you're calling. I would have changed the first one. By all means, say those things, and may have been more in the second part of number 4. But the first part of number 4 is I want to create awareness for my business, just like you did when you were working with the nonprofit after school. You wanted to create awareness. I want to do the same with my business. So part 1 of number 4, the purpose of the call, is I just want you to know what I'm doing. Okay, so
perfect.
The knowing him and respecting him for his love for the Lord is awesome, but not relevant here.
Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, and it's just confusing 2 things. And then the second part of number 4 was now when you really respect his opinion and his hard work that he was doing for the kids. And you might put in there, and I love the way you love the Lord, and that if you want to put that in that part as part of the complimenting prior to asking for his opinion, then that's fine. But don't mix the 2 up. The first one is say, I want you to know what I'm doing because I need to create, a big network to know what I'm doing. And secondly, you may be able to refer me. And then secondly, I've always really respected the way you run your church and the way you ran the nonprofit organization, and I would really appreciate you taking a look at what I'm doing because I'd appreciate your opinion and any guidance that you'd have for me.
That is brilliant. That is brilliant. That's why you're making the big bucks, and I'm on my way to making the big bucks because I'm listening to you. That was brilliant.
And I don't care if he's a pastor or not. He's still a guy. And when you boost his ego like that, we're going to be like, oh, well, yeah, okay, I'll help you. You know what we're like.
But
and of course,
that's
go ahead,
brilliant. That's brilliant because this is a business call, and I mean, I get it. That makes so much sense. That's just brilliant.
There's a time and a place. There's just a time and a place. And then this time we're asking for, I want you to know what I'm doing, and I'm asking you for an opinion. Now, the other alternative, which you kind of went into a little bit but then decided not to put in correctly, to go for a direct approach to say, I'd like you to take a look at this because it may be something that you and your wife would like to do, is an alternative to the asking for an opinion and still just as valid. And you could pick which one you like. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah. The opinion one is just a little hard for me because I know I'm going to go. I'm going to show the videos. I'm showing the whole presentation. And so as I was thinking about that, and I wrote down here, I'm sitting there with him. He's finished the videos. And then I go into, so Jack, did that make sense to you? And he will say yes or no. And I'm sure he'll say yes, it makes sense. And then what did you like best about it? What else did you like? And then I would say, do you know anyone that I can help with saving money or making money on their electric bill? And never did I go into pressuring him to do it.
Right, and that's exactly the right thing to do. Is you want to say, did that make sense to you? What did you like about it, and this type of thing. Although those questions are leading towards so let's get you started type conversation. So does that make sense to you? Yeah, absolutely. And then I would probably go more in towards what you asked him for, because we don't want to be disingenuous and say, well, look, I'm really, really excited about this business. It's going to definitely get Nathaniel, pay his college paid for and this type of thing, but also get my retirement done. But I want to make sure I do this right, and I'd really respect what your thoughts and opinions are, and just say, and then just put the ball in his court. And as he's talking about it, and if he's talking about it, really favorably, if the timing is right, and you'll know if it is, you can say, is this something that I don't know? Is this something that you and your wife would do? But you'd have to rely on your gut feel for how it's going, because you asked for an opinion. If you then bait and switch him intentionally without the right kind of reason why, then you've kind of been a little bit disingenuous to your pastor, and you're going to have to say 3 Hail Marys for that. So we've got to just play that one carefully.
Yeah, and that is a struggle because I do want to show him the business, and and I thought about how do I approach him, and for some reason I'm thinking, okay, he runs an organization, he has an office. I should approach this from the opinion point, but I really wanted to approach it from the business point and standpoint, and then thinking, well, he has a nonprofit organization, so how could that help the nonprofit organization?
Well, no, he needs to. If he's got a nonprofit organization, he's looking for ways to make extra money all the time, because he's got to be really careful there. But there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either turn that invite into a direct invite, and instead of asking for an opinion, say, I want you to give me referrals, blah, 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 blah. But what was his name? Jack. This actually may be something you and your wife could do to give you extra income while you're running your nonprofit organizations. Now, I don't know, that's when you would, because you're not asking for an opinion, if you go that route, that's when you would say, no, I don't know it's going to be your cup of tea, Jack, and that's perfectly fine, but I'm going to be literally driving right by your offices on Friday around 5 o'clock. Why don't I pop in, show you what I'm doing? Again, if all you could do is refer people for me, that'd be fantastic. But, hey, this may make sense for you. Or you know what? There's actually a coffee shop just around the corner. Really nice and conversational and very intentional. And I actually have a feeling I would go direct with this guy.
Yeah, I think that's really what I feel like I want to do, and it's something just so, I guess, just because I had the chiropractor and the massage guy, I'm thinking, I guess I'm thinking, somebody I approached from my brother-in-law. That was it. That was my first one. So, I would really rather go the other route with him. So, just something for you and your wife on the side of your nonprofit.
Okay, that's the one to do.
Okay.
Because anyone running a nonprofit is not necessarily making all the money they need.
Right.
And he may not necessarily be looking to get rich from this, but he probably is looking to make sure he can live a comfortable life while he's helping other folks.
Okay. Well, I'll rewrite it and go that route.
Okay, so let's have a look at one last invite then for this evening.
Okay, I have not written it. This is Becky.
Okay. Tell me about Becky.
So Becky and her husband did pastor a church in Crystal Beach out in Galveston, and that's how I met them. My in-laws lived out there. They now live in Fort Worth, and she is a superintendent at a Fort Worth ISD in the Fort Worth ISD district. And I just saw her a couple months ago at my in-laws. There was a gathering, and I know she's got a couple grown sons that are in college, and I do not know what her husband does. But
any other pain do you know
of? Besides that night of the party, my son backed up into her car, which wasn't very good.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be good.
But we're all on good terms. It's all good. I really don't know of any pain. I think she does pretty well with what she's doing. Matter of fact, she was driving a Jaguar, so I don't know that there's any financial pain. But I think her sons are in college, so
right.
I guess there's always pain there.
And she's still working. I'm sure if husband's making enough money, plenty of money, she would maybe not, be working. So seems like
she's
a pretty.
In her 50s. She's about my age. She's in her 50s. And,
okay. So I would go with the same intro you just did, and go direct. And in a hurry, your why exactly as it was, the hook exactly as it was. Not only is it going to help my son get through college, but it's going to get my husband and I retirement done. And there's a couple of reasons why I'm calling you. First of all, I'm just basically letting everybody know what I'm doing. Like in any business, I've got a network. I've got to market myself. I'd like you to see what I'm doing so you can maybe refer people to me. But you know what, Becky, I know you've got a couple of sons in college right now, and knowing what it's going to cost for us to put Nathaniel through college, this actually may be something that you would consider doing as well to help, to help with those college fees. I don't know if it's going to be your cup of tea, and that's perfectly fine. My friendship with you, is more important than any business deal, but it's really helping us. And with two boys in college, I know that's really expensive. What are you doing after school tomorrow? Like around 4:30, something like that. There's a coffee shop just around the corner, or there's that hotel they do really nice coffee at the Marriott around the corner. Let's go grab a coffee and let me show you what I'm doing. That type of thing. Nice and conversational, nice and intentional, but direct. Yeah,
that's good. What I'm learning in these approaches, in these invites, is that you can have a general one for a lot of people, and then you just have to tweak a little here and there for different people, but you can kind of go with the same flow.
And that's exactly right. And because the most important thing with this, as you know, is that you're duplicatable, because, you're going to be bringing people into your team. You want them to be able to invite as well as you do, and all you need to do is to teach them these invites that we're doing on the last call. You can get them on the Sunday Purge call, and then when you're the accountability partner like I am, you can guide them through the invite process, just like I am with you. I mean, it's pure duplication. Nothing we do on this call is anything different than the normal system, and it's totally duplicatable. So it's all good.
Well,
the only thing that's a little different, about my call is a lot of ambit people are very much the numbers game. Get through the numbers. Bang, 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 bang. Get through the numbers. I'm not. It is a numbers game by default, but I believe in a slower, more patient, more respectful approach, because I think that's more duplicatable, and I think more people are comfortable with that type of deal. And it's just the way that I lead in my team. But I have the utmost respect for the other approach as well. It's just not the approach that I choose to take.
Right.
Each to their own.
You're helping me tremendously, and I can't thank you enough. I really feel like you're just setting me up for just a continued structure and how I'm going to build my business and help more people, and it's really bringing a lot of personal growth for me, Richard. Like I said the other night, I think if people knew all the value that's taking place for me that could take place for them, I don't care if they're an EC, just to go through this with you of that accountability. So I just can't thank you enough, and really
you're very welcome, and I appreciate your kind words. But I agree. I don't care whether you're an MC or an EC. If you don't have a disciplined week, you won't have growth in your business.
Right.
And again, discipline is a couple of invites a day and an accountability call, 30 minutes. We're not talking very much. But the difference between doing it and not doing it is whether you should turn your site off or not. Because if you're not having structure on a regular basis in your business, you're kind of spinning your wheels, and you're never going to really get any traction or any momentum in your business. And unless you're lucky and someone joins your business and they do it instead of you. But we can't rely on that. I've got some great people in my business, but I don't have any rock stars. I don't have anybody that's a Ray Monty or a Chris Atkinson, who joined. And Ray Monty came in X Games qualified, but Chris Atkinson came in without knowing anything. Rock star, right? We can't rely on a $5 million or $10 million earner joining our business. We've got to do it as if everybody's going to be like everybody else. A little bit of structure. And even if your invites are not perfect, you'll do fine. But your invites are just in 2 days, you've dramatically improved.
Well, thank you so much for your help. And
you're welcome.
I have been blessed to be able to be at home and spend a lot of time on it. I'm just trying to get it down. And once I get it down, then I won't have to spend as much time, like you said. 30 minutes out of your day, you can make 2-3 phone calls,
Come on, girl. So. You know it. All right. Well, I got to fly because I've got my team call tonight, so I've got to get on my call. I've got to prepare for it. So, and I have no idea what I'm going to talk about yet. So,
well, now you say team call. Is that everybody can get on that?
Everybody can get on it. It's advertised or promoted on the EC Riders Facebook page. So it starts at 9:00, and I'm probably just going to get on my soapbox. Yes.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'll be listening in. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.
All right, my lovely. I'll speak to you. Well, you'll hear me later on, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.
Sounds good. Thanks, Richard. Good night.
All righty. Bye-bye. Bye.